Welcome to Season 4 of John McGivern's Main Streets.
I hope there are some open cup holders in our crew van.
The Main Streets podcast takes you behind the scenes of this popular PBS Wisconsin program. Now, get the inside scoop on this week's episode from host John McGivern and Emmy Fink and the Main Streets producer and director Lois Maurer.
Kokomo, that's where we were, Kokomo, Indiana. It was season 4, episode 9. I'm here with Lois, our producer. Hello, Lois.
Hello, John.
Hello, Emmy.
Howdy, John.
Hello, Emily.
Hello.
So, Kokomo, did you know Kokomo before all this?
I didn't.
You didn't?
I didn't.
Now you do.
Now I do, yes, very well.
Emily literally found it. Like we were talking about Indiana. Where are we going to go in Indiana? What are we going to do in Indiana? We knew we wanted Indianapolis, a city there. I'm like, Em, we need something smaller. You just said to me one day, what about Kokomo? I'm like, what is it?
Yeah, Kokomo, the city of firsts, we found out, has a lot of history there, a lot of innovation.
And the first really dealt with the gas lines, right? Or natural gas was plenty. And they were giving, this is what we learned, they were giving plots of land away to move to Kokomo.
Because they were trying to attract businesses and people to this area. And so by being able to say, all right, we can power your plant, it worked. It totally worked. People came there.
They thought it was going to be an endless supply, and then they quickly found out that was not the case.
Well, that's because you could hammer a pipe in the ground and just light it on fire and leave it on fire for years, apparently.
Right.
I like the episode. I like the town.
I loved the glass factory.
Oh, the glass.
That was my favorite. That might have been my favorite thing all season, you guys.
Really?
The Kokomo Opalescent glass. Oh, man. I mean, to see that trade in the way it's been done for hundreds.
Ever.
Yes.
And this is the great big facility you were talking about.
Well, they have different kilns in there, okay, that they heat up the glass, and they make the glass that you would see in stained glass windows and art glass projects. They make the glass
Colored. Most of it colored glass.
and started because of the Tiffany Company. The Tiffany Company was making Tiffany windows, and they needed a glass supplier, and Opalescent Glass in Kokomo had their, I don't know, do you call it a factory? Do you call it a studio? What do you call it?
A mill.
Yeah, they had theirs there and literally made the glass for Tiffany windows for years and years and years.
Right, the site visit, we were just blown away. You can tour it if you want, but it is really, they make the glass. There's ladles of liquid molten glass. Lava, watch where you're stepping because, some of it might fall out, and then they have, 10 seconds to get it to the next, from the kiln to the whatever's next in that process. Right. It's
and
really
they look
amazing
like
to see.
Gigantic soup ladles. Remember, they're like these big ladles, and they're pumping, moving this glass around as they get, and they throw it on this thing, or another huge guy takes a pipe and rolls it into the rollers that make it into flat pieces. And it's molten. None of them have hair on their arms at all. Nobody that works there.
And it goes through like an oven sort of cooler. So it's hot as it starts, and then it goes for half of a city block and makes its way down, and it cools to the end. But there's a guy in the end then that has to deal with this still hot, huge plate of colored, expensive glass.
Yes, and they don't always break well, and you'll see in the episode that, sometimes, and they think nothing of it. Like, I'm like, oh my gosh, he's going to break that glass. That's going to be the worst.
Well, and he wasn't the only one that broke glass.
Stop.
Share the story, Lo.
You share it. You
I wasn't there that day.
Brian and I were shooting B-roll at the glass factory, and there's an entire room there the size of a building that plate glass is in. You always store it on its end because that's how it's strongest when it sits, right? So there's all these crates and everything. And we were in there shooting B-roll, and it's Gail's fault because my phone rang. And Gail was on the phone, and I was holding my camera in my hand that I'm not used to holding it in because I wanted to pick up my phone. And I turned around, and my tripod leg right into this sheet, and it went all over.
Oh my goodness.
I felt
I didn't know this.
I felt this big. I was like, I can't believe I just did that.
Did Plum get an invoice on that?
Not yet.
Well,
don't give him my address.
This leads to something that I was thinking. Do you remember what he said was the hardest color to make?
Red.
Because was it a red piece of glass?
It wasn't. I broke clear. Phew.
And because of the mixtures that,
right.
It's just the most difficult to make because they do it.
Clear's got to be the easiest.
Yeah.
Well, they forgave me, so I felt a little bit better.
They were talking about the next day, though. We're like,
But
you could hear in whisper tones, there she is. That's the girl.
Watch that one.
Wow. Yeah, such a cool tour. I'd go back there again on my own and take another look.
Oh, you can watch it on the show. It's going to be my favorite segment. I'm telling you.
I love the watch company.
Oh, yeah.
Kokomo Watch Company. It was right downtown Kokomo, right on the square, but it was in the back room of the jewelry store, the jeweler, and and we walked in there, and it was two guys who built their own brand of watches, and I was like, wait. And of course, I showed him my watch, which is a Timex Indiglo.
They did not approve.
What an
We weren't wearing
idiot
the
this
swatch
guy
that
is.
day.
But I thought how completely.
I literally thought you were coming out of that store with a watch. I thought you were going to buy that watch, but you are really attached to that Indiglo.
Hello,
There
got
it
it
is.
on right now. It's 1:30. I can tell even if it's dark.
Because it's an Indiglo.
These are watches that you made. These are your watches.
Yeah.
Start to finish? How long is this going to take you?
It all depends. We can do different finishes, different styles.
I never even thought that there's a place where you can go in and say, this is the kind of watch that I would be most pleased with. Can you build it?
Everything we do is unique to the customer. We make all of our dials here in-house.
I thought it was, and the watches they made were beautiful.
Oh,
A
absolutely.
little big for my taste. It's like, is that a clock on your wrist?
I think you have to be younger to like that.
Oh, you do?
Yeah, I think it's a young person. So nobody in this room, except for Bailey, would know about the younger, bigger watch, right, Bailey?
Bailey is the producer of this podcast. And Bailey, do you have a big watch? Huge.
It's a huge watch. See,
good.
that's
Now
Bailey
we
keeps
know.
us young.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Your favorite thing, Emmy?
Oh, hands down, getting to put on a baseball jersey at the Municipal Stadium where the Kokomo, was it Jackrabbits?
Yes, yeah.
Where they play. So I have played fast pitch softball since I was little, played for the Racine Bells, if you've seen the movie A League of Their Own, and just absolutely loved that. And how fun was that? Because you guys were basically throwing BP to me with the camera on the pitcher's mound saying, don't hit me. We're gonna pitch to you, but don't hit the ball this way.
Oh my gosh.
How'd that work?
Well, I didn't hit him.
She didn't hit us.
I
No.
made sure I hit to
Yeah.
right center field, and it was good.
Well, that was because they made me pitch and Brian was behind me. I had to be like the camera guard.
Oh my gosh.
So if that ball was coming, it was going to hit me before it hit him.
And have you played fast pitch softball?
Slow pitch.
Slow pitch.
Yeah.
You do fast pitch?
I mean, I did. That's a big past tense statement.
Is
Now
this
it's
a
slow.
prerequisite for the show? We all have to have some sort of pitch record?
Yes, yes, we do.
I know what baseball is.
But wasn't that cool? That stadium was just like in the middle of this little city,
Yes.
and really a gathering point for the community, and a beautiful field. And they have a
Yes.
really big following. They do a lot to get families out there.
Yeah, it's a thing that families, love to visit and do there. It really was a great asset and a great build for them. And
Yeah.
And as a mom of 3 kids, when you start to think where you can take your kids and where it's going to be affordable, the major league stadiums are not always affordable choices when it's the $11 hot dog. This place was really cool.
Mm-hmm.
Your favorite, Lo? Did you say it already?
Yeah, the glass.
The glass, that's
Yes,
right.
Yes.
John,
That's
do you
right.
remember our segment together?
Where were we?
We were at the Sunshine and Water Plant Bar, and I got to be honest, I didn't look too much into this because we always just ad lib and have fun. I really thought they were going to be making us like lemon drop martinis.
Drinks, right. Plant bar.
Right.
Yeah.
Maybe they'll use, I don't know, some aloe vera in my martini.
Of plants.
This was a plant shop.
Right.
Yeah.
And that woman was amazing. We said many times she wins the award of if we have to pick someone from every episode who would get their own TV show, it would be her.
It's her.
Absolutely. Yeah.
She put us through our paces in creating a take-home souvenir from that shop. So we made what did we make? We did this.
Well, we made our own plant moss stick.
Moss poles.
That we
moss poles. Lois's moss poles.
Yes.
Which was like basically making a sushi roll.
Right.
Kind of.
Right. Yeah. Well, it was rolled up like one.
Right.
Yeah. Don't cut it up.
No.
The idea is that it sticks tall in a plant, like in a pot.
Right.
And so then things grow up it. So all those vines, and you made one, and you made a Dieffenbachia or something that will grow up it, and it was a fun thing to do.
It's still growing.
And they do classes there, which I think is brilliant, right? I'm like, how? And I asked her, how do you make a living selling these little houseplants? It's really the classes, I think, that are going to put them on the map.
And her real job.
And her real job, and the bar that they're really going to have.
Right. Yeah.
In the back.
With the alcohol. That's going to do it.
Right.
We had a good time.
We did.
And we walked out of there with something that we'll have forever.
With parting gifts.
Which
is, a little bit hard to drive 5 hours home with. Did your plant survive? Because, it's hard when you leave with a plant. You're like, this thing can't tip now.
Oh, I made sure it didn't.
You positioned
I put it in a box
yours.
and had some bumpers around it.
There you go.
Yeah,
I did not.
Should have called me.
Yeah, I should have. I should have let you take it for the trip and then picked it up.
Right. Black Wax Cafe. Remember that guy?
Yeah. Do you remember the cafe? Unbelievably done, right?
First of all, it's like, where'd you get all these albums?
And why are they hanging up when you're not listening to them? They're all decoration now? What?
Right.
Aren't you worried about that?
It's the ones that were in bad shape that he turned into decorations.
Yeah.
And then he has more LPs than it's like long play albums. But
they also had really good coffee, if you remember, and drinks.
Good coffee.
They had good smoothies and good coffee, and it was it's really well done. And it's amazing to me how vinyl has come back.
Yeah, and William, the owner of Black Wax Cafe and the Plant Bar, both of them are very passionate about Kokomo and its growth and development, and want to make sure that everyone else knows. You're going to Indianapolis, also come to Kokomo too.
Right.
We have some fun things.
Because it's an hour. It's just an hour north. And they're young. Those both business owners were young and completely committed to that community. Arty's.
Was that your favorite? Because I thought that might have been your favorite. You were having fun at Arty's.
Yeah. Yeah. What'd you think of it?
Oh, it's an institution, isn't it? Isn't it it's a little corner kind of a diner that can probably fit 10 people in
If
there?
that.
Maybe. There's a counter and then like 3 booths. And
Very
that was
tiny.
What do they specialize in?
Pork tenderloin sandwiches, which is an Indiana thing.
And what do they call them?
It was like schnitzel.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was like pork.
But huge. Like the bun, like
This big. A piece of pork pounded to an inch of its life and then breaded and fried up. And
it's the size of a dinner plate, and the bun is the size of a bun. So it's like, how am I going to eat this?
Is it like a
Yeah.
shareable thing? Like you go with 2 people and cut it in half?
not for us.
No, you would.
But the guy was just the side of ornery. How is the business? What? It's a business. I found him so funny.
Yes.
And the more I related and found him funny, the funnier he got. Because he was like, he had an audience. It may have been of one.
But it was of all of us. We loved him. And his wife.
His wife was
What a
lovely.
business,
Yeah.
We're like, is anybody going to take this over? Who would?
Right,
Oh,
exactly.
okay.
I wouldn't suggest it.
And was he Arty?
No, his
no.
name wasn't Arty. They bought it and didn't want to change the name because it was such a successful business. But they bought it, John, 20, it was a long time ago.
It's been around forever. And he opens up the cops come in the middle of the night because he gets there in the middle of the night to start prepping. They don't really open up till 8 o'clock or something in the morning.
5 a.m. So
5 a.m.
still
they
pretty
open?
early, but
But people come in.
We were not there at 5 a.m.
We weren't.
we were
weren't.
like, no.
We were there at the end of the day.
Yeah, the end of the day.
Yeah.
We also were not at Dan's Bakery at 1 a.m., Emily, which you really wanted us to do.
I thought maybe I could talk Brian into, waking up in the middle of the night and see if there were, in fact, the line of people for donuts, which everyone tells me there are, because they're just that good. And
they're close to campus.
And I think it comes too from the manufacturing history,
right.
The different
Third
shifts.
Right.
People would go, at 1, 2 o'clock in the morning.
We just shouldn't have gone to sleep. And then we should have gone, ate the donut. And when we got there, and you always have on the notes, like what time we have to be there by because they close, to remember there was very few donuts left.
Yes, yes.
And it was kind of like, how do we showcase this place now? Because these donuts are obviously so good that everyone has already come in, and it's just a random weekday. Yeah. And at 2 o'clock, it was slim pickings. I think I bought a couple to bring back to my kids. I think we bought them out. And then they just
close the doors right after you.
It was a good episode. Kokomo, Indiana.
Loved it.
If I'm anywhere near close, I'd stop, wouldn't you?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It was episode 9 of season 4, Kokomo, Indiana. We have a shout out to Steve Ristola from Lexington, Minnesota. Thanks,
for
Steve.
listening, Steve.
Yeah.
We would also love to give a shout out to a wonderful underwriter for us this season, which has been the Wisconsin Dells, the water park capital of the world. I don't know that I've met anyone who doesn't have a Wisconsin Dells story or memory.
Right.
It's like everyone has a memory, whether it's from years ago or what the Dells is now.
Maybe that's just because we're from Wisconsin. I would love for the rest of the Midwest to find the Dells because it's changed over the years, right? It's a destination now for generations of families, and how great that they came on, to help us along. And we really appreciate that.
We're so grateful. It's thanks to them and other communities and other Wisconsin businesses that truly make this show possible. So thank you to Wisconsin Dells.
Great, you guys. Kokomo, Indiana. We had a good time. We'd go back.
Except we have to go around Chicago. So I'm going to let that wound heal, and then I'll go back next year.
We'll be doing that again.
Then we'll be ready to sing because Bermuda, Jamaica, ooh, I want to take you to
Bermuda, Bahamas.
Come.
And
I'll let you guys sing.
And there's no such place as Kokomo. Remember that whole thing?
Right.
Yeah, they made it up. It rhymed well or something.
They were in Indiana. That's what we think.
Right. Good talking to you guys. We'll see you.
See ya.
Bye.
Want to wear something that's going to support your favorite show? Shop at Main Street Store. Proceeds go to help us get next season into production. So come on, go shopping at mainstreets.tv.